Hi there. Hi there. I'm Paul Falstad, and I have bipolar disorder. Two. There's one and two. Don't be scared. It's just a mental illness. So, why am I doing this? First, let me give you some statistics so you know I'm not just crazy. In 2007, this is from the National Institute of Mental Health, and I will be itching and scratching. It's a nervous, they call it a nervous tick. I think it's just insecurity. You touch your face, and I'm still here. I'm an English teacher. Let me take these off. I'm an English teacher. I teach middle school right now, grades 5 to 8. I am a business owner, hence the logo, mobile. It's over there. MobileMassageGo.com. I would like to bring you the best massage in the nation. You'll love it, or it's free, guaranteed. Look, MobileMassageGo.com. Go there and feel better, and it's your face. So, let's see, what else am I? I'm a singer-songwriter. You can see me on YouTube all over the place. I'm not, fantastic, but I do have a take those off. I do have a stage presence and some kind of electricity because it comes from the soul. You sing from the soul. People would, when you're a good singer or a good artist, you touch people because it comes from the heart. Okay, statistics. This is from the National Institute of Mental Health, which is a government agency. It's not Wikipedia. I tell my students never use Wikipedia. Completely unreliable. Okay, so in 2017, there were an estimated 46.6 million adults 18 or over with any mental illness. Let me break that down. A mental illness. This is almost 20% of the adults in America. 20%. So 1 in 5 people that you know, statistically speaking, have a mental illness. Oh God, my best friend is mentally ill. Don't ask, you don't want to know. The interesting though, women have a higher incidence. I'm going to try to use this without glasses. Women have a higher incidence. 22% opposed to men who have 15%. That's interesting. I could talk about that, but I'm not an expert yet. Oh, I forgot. I'm a clinical mental health counseling grad student. I'm a master's student in counseling. So I'm not an idiot, although sometimes I am. And some would say you're an idiot for talking about this on the World Wide Web. Here's why, and I think it may help you. There's a stigma and a don't rub your eyes. There's a stigma and a shame attached to mental illness. We call them mental disorders. I don't know if that sounds better or not, but that's what the APA decided with the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, version 5. The most recent one from 2014. There's a stigma. And in other words, if you have what I have, which is bipolar disorder, you don't talk about it. I'm not going to go to work and say, hey, we don't talk about it. So I'm talking about it. I'm tired of being ashamed of it. I haven't been ashamed of it. But if I weren't really ashamed of it, I would talk about it to my friends, but I don't. All my friends know that I have bipolar. My family knows, and they're ashamed. Afraid, maybe. They don't understand it. And remember, these are all my opinions. I'm not a medical expert. I may be a grad student in mental health, clinical mental health, which is impressive to me. I'm learning about it, but I'm no expert, and you can't take my word as medical advice. Okay, my opinions only. Disclaimer: don't follow my advice as if I were a medical expert. I mean, you can choose to do what you want. So I do have some good advice. I would say I'm an expert on bipolar, though. However, if you want to know about bipolar, I can tell you a lot. So, and if there are almost 20% of you right now, as I'm speaking to, have a mental illness of some sort, then I need to be talking to you out there. You are not alone. I have it, and I'm not ashamed. And I wouldn't say go tell your employer, because, with that stigma and that shame and that fear, really, you could get fired. It's illegal for them to fire you, but you could get fired. Do you like how the thing goes up and down? I am on the ocean, in case you didn't notice. It's not really. I got the laptop on my lap, so makes you seasick. As I'm watching myself, I am demonstrative, I am expressive, I am eccentric. I have a lot of, facial expressions, and that's me. That's not a mental illness. It doesn't mean I'm crazy, though I consider myself kind of crazy, kind of wacky, kind of weird. And I don't mind being weird, because who wants to be normal? I don't. Think about substance abuse. Now, the statistics on that, and this is from the National, where is this from? These statistics are from the, it's a legit, it's a government agency, the National Survey on Drug Use and Health. In 2017, almost 20 million Americans aged 12 or older battled a substance use disorder. 2017, 74% of adults suffering from a substance abuse disorder in 2017 struggled with an alcohol use disorder. So alcoholism is prevalent as opposed to illegal drug use. 38% of those suffering from substance use are using illegal drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have that issue, thank God. I don't need another one. I've been obsessive compulsive. I've done a lot of self-harm. Suicide was almost constantly on my mind. As a teenager, I had a serious attempt when I was 12. I'm not glorifying any of this. I'm telling you my story. A good environment. So I have a relatively healthy environment. My parents were wonderful. I had two parents. I'm not from a single mom home. I was a single dad. Hey, single moms, I'm there with you. I raised two kids, by God, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done, is raising two kids alone. Single moms, I give you applause. You go, girls. I know it's hard, achingly hard. Oh, it's painful. It's like an ice pick, a frozen icicle in the heart. Honestly, it feels so bad, that loneliness. And they struggle with finances. I was working full time, and I had my parents to help me take care of my kids. So I actually didn't pay rent for about 10 years until I moved out. And that's healthier, moving out. But I was helping my parents. So let's see, where am I going with all this? Teenagers. I'm an English teacher for high school. I've been doing it since 2012, and I usually work with minority kids. I go into the inner cities to teach. I think because I have a heart for kids, because I am one still. I relate to kids better than adults. So I taught for 3 years in LA. Inner city, South Central, Crenshaw, East LA, but all minorities. Like, I rarely saw a white person in the class. In fact, the first 3 years in LA, I didn't see there were no white people. And then when I came back to Ohio to teach, I taught in Cleveland a couple times, Cleveland and Painesville, and once in Lorain, all inner city, and there were some white people. And I didn't know what to do. They were kind of strange to me. Just sort of kidding, but I'm not. I really felt more comfortable with minorities than I did with my own race, white people. Okay, so let's see. I think that's all I have to say for today. If you are experiencing suicidal thoughts, you're feeling suicidal, you feel like you want to kill yourself, and you got a plan, or you don't have a plan, or you're just thinking about it, you need to talk to somebody. For so many years, I kept it silent. I never talked to anybody, and that's why I did try to kill myself, because I didn't talk to somebody about it. You gotta reach out. I know it's hard. The first time I talked to somebody, I could barely speak. Honestly, I couldn't get the words out. The counselor it was a pastor, and he didn't know what to do. Back in the 70s, no one knew what's mental illness. We just were scared, put them in the hospital somewhere, in a state hospital. They're crazy. He really didn't know what to say. And he said one thing, and I think I spent an hour with him or thereabouts. He said one sentence that actually comforted me in the whole time, because of his lack of information about mental illness. He said, "You are walking through the valley of the shadow of death." And that's directly from the Psalms. King David. Yea, there's a Bible, if those of you who don't know the Bible. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. What? David? King David? Israel's greatest king that the Messiah comes from. God's anointed was so depressed that he was dying inside. Or I suppose felt like death was surrounding him like a cloak of black fog. David, who ruled Israel, one of the best kings ever, was apparently, I think he had said in other Psalms, I wish I had never been born, something to that effect. I'll bring some out another time. But his Psalms are filled with despair and sadness and tragedy, emotional pain and loneliness and persecution and war and violence. He was a war person. He was a soldier, a hell of a good soldier, but he was a killer. Killed Goliath, just one single-handedly. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad day, but he was a violent man. He defended his country. But not everybody can do that. So if you are feeling suicidal, you're thinking about it, thinking about killing yourself, it's very real thoughts. You can almost touch them. They're in here so deep, you can't even talk about them. It's almost like your blood running through you, and you can't get rid of it. You can't. So you got to talk to somebody. Call that crisis helpline. I have it here somewhere. I'm sorry. There's a crisis. Just go online. NAMI, NAMI, has a crisis helpline 24 hours a day. There's a local helpline in your town. We have Town Hall 2 in Kent, Portage County. Practically every county has a helpline. Just Google it on your phone, or talk to your mom or dad. Okay, they may not understand, but you can tell them, and they're going to care. Sometimes they might get mad. You can't do that. What are you talking about? That's stupid. They're not going to understand necessarily unless they've been through it. But letting someone know brings it out of the darkness, makes you not alone, and makes you feel like maybe you can get through this. And you can. I did. I wound up in the hospital with alcohol-induced coma from trying to kill myself, and I made it. I made it. You can make it. And don't kill yourself, because you are cutting off and stopping any possibility of good things in your life. Okay? Now it seems like there's no hope. It's never going to change. The pain's not going to go away. and you can't do anything about it, especially if you're young, you're underage, you're stuck in your parents' home or your guardian's home or some crappy place, and you hate it. You hate yourself, and you hate your guardian, your parents, and they're abusing you, or they're sexually abusing you, emotionally neglecting you, or verbally abusing you in some way, making you feel like shit. And I use that vernacular because this is not time to be polite. Not time to be polite. Let's talk about it realistically. Whatever your situation is, it can get better. It can get better no matter how bad it is. There are things you can do, even as a young person, as a teenager or a child. Some kids are suicidal. I wasn't suicidal as a kid. My God, that would be awful. Reach out to somebody. Even if you can't say a word, write a note. I'm feeling suicidal. Please help. Talk to a friend. Then they can talk to their parent, or they can talk to your parents, or they can call the helpline for you and stay with you. Look, get somebody's help right now, because your life can get better. I guarantee it. You have to do it. You got to take hold of it. You got to do what you can to make it better. There are ways, okay? There are ways to feel better, and you have control of that, regardless of who's in charge of your life, or that be the juvie or the parent guardian, even if they're crappy. You still have areas of your life that you can control. They can't control your heart. They can definitely affect your mind, and that's part of the problem. People have cut you down and beat you down, so you believe the negative. Well, it's not true. You're a good person. You can be a good person. You will be a good person if you want to. It's what you do with your life. You have the power. Okay? So take that and reach out right now to somebody. And if they don't help, go to somebody else. Because some people don't understand. They'll be scared. They'll be afraid. They'll not know what to say to you. Most people won't. But there are people in your life that do care, and you know who they are. Talk to them. And after you get help, you can make it better. I did, and you can. Love you. I don't know you, but I reach out to you in love. Put it that way. Okay? God loves you. Even if it feels like he's gone. David said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. That you is a big you. It's God is with you right now. I know you don't feel like it. Most of my life, I haven't felt like he's with me, but he's there. You got to have that faith. Faith is something you can't see, but it's evidence of what we don't see. Faith. Believe that he's there. He will help you. If no one else will, God has brought me through. God has brought me through, because so many times people let me down. People can't help you. A lot of times, people don't know what to do unless you're professional, a mental health professional or a doctor, a counselor of some sort. Sometimes pastors now know about it. I wouldn't recommend going to a pastor, because he's going to tell you to pray and read the Bible. And I got to tell you something, that doesn't work. Okay, it helps me now. I read the Bible every day and I pray constantly. My head and God are connected all the time. And but in my experience with counseling with pastors, and I've had numerous experiences, and I know a lot of pastors in my life, they don't understand mental illness, and they equate it with a spiritual weakness. It's not a spiritual weakness. I guarantee you, it is not a spiritual weakness. It's not a weakness of character. It's not a weakness of personality. It's genetic in about the statistics. The statistics say it's 40 to 60% genetic. You get it from your family. Okay, even if your family doesn't have a mental illness, it comes multi-generational. It comes from grandpa, or grandma, or great-grandfather, that kind of thing. The other 60 to 40% is environmental. Okay, so it's environmental and genetic. I personally feel it's mostly genetic, which with statistics show that. So I'm not just take a breath. Take a breath. It's going to be okay. If you make it okay. I always say that. It's not up to somebody else. It's up to you to do. Okay. Bye-bye. How do you shut this thing off? Oh, there it is. Stop video. Okay.